And Bonds hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead.
Washington outside left. Roethlisberger has time. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
A minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up.
It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan. Stacks on stacks on stacks. Let's join with my man, Swervin Irving Washington, from the deep, dirty Los Angeles, California.
I don't live in LA no more.
Long Beach, California.
I'm moved on up to the east side.
All right. Hold on, where's that considered?
To a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Okay, I feel it. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good.
Just good?
Yeah, can't complain. It's cold as hell. The wind is blowing.
Yeah, it's cold out here in Vegas finally, dude. It actually feels like autumn.
Trying not to get sick.
Oh, no. Say it ain't so.
Shoeless Joe.
Man, we got a good show on deck tonight. Obviously, Game 4 of the World Series just wrapped up. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then, obviously, this is the college football preview and pick show, so we'll be hopping into a handful of games for this weekend. We got a lot of good games, including number 1 versus number 2 in the CFP rankings, which we're also going to talk about because
technically it's number 1 versus number 1.
Yeah, kind of. If you think about it, number 1 in each poll. So we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that. But I do have to mention we are being brought to you by Tavour. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. That's craft beer delivered straight to your front door. You don't even have to leave your seat. What a beautiful thing. With that being said, Irv, let's hop right. Let's talk a little bit about the World Series. So we kind of, before we went on there, we were kind of talking about a little bit, but obviously the Phillies get no hit. Christian Javier was spectacular.
Nails. 10
strikeouts over 6 innings. And the Astros combined 4 pitchers, no hitter. Now the series is tied 2-2. We got Game 5 tomorrow back in Philly. We got Syndergaard versus Verlander. What's your thoughts on kind of like how this game played out and like kind of your thoughts about the series going forward?
Usually, the last couple games has been the Phillies jumping on the Astros early, and the Astros, they take the momentum, and the Astros can't get it back. But tonight, you didn't have
except for Game 1, they went up 5-0. Phillies came back and won the game.
Yeah. So tonight you had that big momentum swing with that one inning, and the Astros rode that to victory. The Phillies, they was just missing pitches. It's a game of inches. They was missing, and then Javier was just dotting the inside, the outside, at the bottom of the strike zone. So, great pitching beats great hitting, and that was pretty much the story tonight. And the bullpen just came in and just closed the door. But I do expect the Phillies to bounce back, though, because we know at home those bats get to rolling, and it's hard for the road team to keep up.
Yep. I didn't play a side in this game today because I did think that there was a possibility, a very good possibility, that the Astros were going to win this game. Obviously, I have a few investments on the Phillies to win this series, so, it wasn't in my financial benefit to take the Phillies in this game, you know what I mean? Because I already have them to win the series. I have them to win in 6, and then I have Bryce Harper to win MVP. I have Gene Segura to win MVP, so just made no sense for me to take a side. I played the under, ended up working out for me. I also, you and I have talked about this kind of off the air, but I'm not a big fan of Nola third time through the order. 5.07 ERA. And what happens tonight? He gives up a leadoff single in the 5th, and then walks the next 2, or gives up 2 more singles in in the 5th inning, and then Thompson finally pulls him after he loads the bases, no outs. And that was the difference in the game, really. That one inning was the difference in the game. 5 runs in that one inning. You have a fresh bullpen. You haven't used your high leverage guys for damn near 3 days. You know, this is a perfect opportunity to let them loose. I mean, you can't, like, there is a tomorrow, but
after he gave up that leadoff walk and then gave up the hit, and it was runners on first and second with no outs, I would have pulled him because he clearly his stuff wasn't working after that.
And you know his numbers throughout the entire season, so it's not a small sample size. You know what I mean? It's a large sample size of how he is the 3rd time through the order.
Yeah, he didn't turn into Joe Musgrove in the playoffs. He stayed Aaron Nola.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's unfortunate, but I mean, to be honest, it was a must-win game for the Astros.
Yeah, they lost this game. It was a wrap.
Yeah, so they had to win this game because they got Verlander tomorrow. I know a lot of people are like, well, that's the guy you want. But, I mean, Verlander historically throughout his career in the World Series has an 80 RA. So I don't know if that's the guy you want to pitch in a game.
Good luck.
Yeah, and you know, the Phillies have been resilient throughout this entire postseason. So I definitely expect them to bounce back tomorrow. I expect them to win and hopefully win in 6. You know what I mean? Because
that's your bet. Mattress Mac, you know, he's hoping for that $75 million.
Man, fuck Mattress Mac. Anyways, let's talk about some college football. So the first set of college football playoff rankings came out this week, and you know, like always, there's a lot of question marks with a lot of these teams because, as we know, the College Football Playoff Committee is a committee, and there is no science to how they pick these teams, as we know. So, you know, I'm going to run down a quick list, and then we'll talk about, you know, which teams we think shouldn't be there, which teams we think should be. So, Tennessee, number 1, I think we both agree that's probably fair at this point. They probably have the best wins in college football throughout this point. You know, they beat Alabama. They've beaten Kentucky. They're the best wins. Number 2, Ohio State. Ohio State, their best win, Penn State, at Penn State. Good win, by the way. They didn't cover, though. Good teams win, great teams cover.
They should have covered. That last touchdown was some bull, but you're right.
Georgia, number 3, also 8-0. Clemson, number 4. Michigan, number 5. Alabama, number 6. TCU, number 7. Oregon, number 8. USC, number 9. LSU number 10, and then we're followed up by Ole Miss, UCLA, Kansas State, Utah, Penn State, Illinois, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Tulane, Syracuse, Wake Forest, NC State, Oregon State, Texas, UCF. So what's your gripe about this first list?
My 2 biggest gripes is that LSU is not a top 10 team.
At all.
At all, nor should Ole Miss be number 11. Kansas State is getting disrespected because they should be undefeated. And the only reason why they lost the game that they did lose because they lost their starting quarterback and one of their best playmakers. So I think they should have definitely took that into consideration. I don't like how they're propping up Alabama because pretty much right now, if Alabama wins the SEC, we know 2 teams are getting eliminated. Well, 1 team is getting eliminated by default because Ohio State and Michigan have to play each other. Winner of that goes to the Big Ten championship, and you would expect them to make the playoff. Clemson is undefeated, but we all know that they're the worst undefeated team in all of America. And if they do go undefeated and make the playoffs, I see them getting blown out by whoever they play. But if Alabama wins out and let's say Clemson falters, Michigan loses to Ohio State, which most people would expect, that means a 1-loss Alabama, even if they don't win their conference or they lose a close game to Georgia or Tennessee in a rematch if Tennessee beats Georgia, there's going to be 2 SEC teams in the playoff again, and it might be an SEC team over an undefeated Big 12 champion in TCU if they run the table, or a 1-loss Pac-12 champion in USC or Oregon.
Well, the one thing I will say, I agree, TCU should be ahead of Alabama as of now. The only thing I will say is that, like, if Kansas State doesn't lose their first and second string quarterback in that game, they win that game against TCU, right? True. And then we're having a totally different conversation here. But on the same spectrum, when you talk about Alabama, you know, Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt. they probably, Texas
two
probably
losses.
wins that game, right?
Yeah.
And then, A&M gave Alabama a very hard fought game.
Yeah, they
And
won
then,
that game by 4 points.
yep, and then they lost to
Tennessee.
Tennessee. So I think a lot of things like have gone Alabama's way for them to be at this spot now. I'm not I'm not entirely I'm not entirely mad at the fact that, oh my god, the Lakers are fucking dog shit, dude.
We about to lose.
Yeah, they literally just let fucking the Pelicans get a free drive to the hoop. Now they're up 3 with 7 seconds left, and we know the Lakers can't shoot threes. Sorry, if you see me looking up, it's because I'm watching the end of this Lakers game. But anyways, I think that like the one thing they got right was Tennessee #1.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Georgia, we could debate that till the end of time. Clemson, I agree with you. #4 is a little, yeah, they're undefeated, but they haven't looked good. You know what I mean? Like DJ Ugalele still looks like shit. They probably should have lost to Syracuse, right? If Klubenik doesn't come in and save the day. Michigan, they haven't played anybody.
Nobody.
Alabama 7-1, TCU 8-0. TCU has played a harder schedule than Clemson, Michigan, and Alabama, and they're undefeated, and somehow they're #7. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me, dude.
It's the SEC bias, and it's not going nowhere anytime soon.
Clearly, and the sad thing is people will defend it and they'll say, well, we know Alabama's a better team than TCU. We know Alabama's a better team or we know Clemson's a better team than TCU. We know Michigan's a better team than TCU. Do we? I mean, Michigan probably should have lost to Maryland at home if it wasn't for a fucking muffed kickoff. I mean, what's the odds of that happening, right? I mean, come on, man. Like, what do we like? Why do we have this preconceived notion of like this team is better than this team? Because this is like really the first year, Irvin, where I could say like I don't know who the best team in college football is at this point in the season. I don't.
We know who has the best resume. We don't know who's the best team.
Yeah, Tennessee is the best resume at this point. You know what I mean? And if they beat Georgia on Saturday, they are clearly the best team in college football, and there's no fucking doubt about it. And nobody can debate that, right? But if they beat Georgia on Saturday, I guarantee the college football playoff committee is going to come back and they're going to put Georgia #5 or #6 because they lost to the best team in the college football playoff.
This loss could, even if Georgia loses, this loss could benefit them in the long run because if they get dropped to #5 or 6, then they don't got to go to the SEC championship. And somehow, if Alabama upsets Tennessee or Tennessee beats Alabama, Georgia is going to go to the.
They're going to sneak in there.
They're going to sneak in the college football playoff.
As long as they look dominant the rest of the way through.
Yeah, which pretty much they are.
And the sad thing is, too, is I can't say the same thing for Tennessee. Like, if Tennessee loses to Georgia on Saturday, they have no chance of making the college football playoff.
None at all. They haven't built up the cachet that Alabama and Georgia has, which is not cool, but we know how this goes when it comes to those two teams. Well, any upper echelon SEC team that people think is elite.
All right, so what happens? All right, let's look at this. What happens if Georgia beats Tennessee on Saturday, Alabama beats the dog shit out of LSU on Saturday, Clemson ends up losing a game, and then Michigan, Ohio State, obviously the winner of that game is going to be in the Big Ten championship, barring a loss in the Big Ten title, which I doubt either of those teams would lose.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a possibility we see Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama all in the college football playoff with the winner of that Ohio State-Michigan game?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because if Clemson loses, they're getting dropped completely probably out the top 10 because the only thing that's keeping them up there because they're undefeated, but a lot of people look at them and see that they have a deficiency at quarterback and they're barely winning games against lesser inferior competition, and we all could look and see that the ACC is the worst Power 5 conference of any conference this year. So Clemson won't be getting the benefit of the doubt this year unless they're undefeated, which even if they go undefeated we all know that they're not winning the national championship.
They're getting
So,
smacked in that first game. I don't care who the fuck
yeah,
they play.
yeah, whoever they play, they getting blowed out. Two touchdowns minimum. But,
Damn.
um, but that could be our only saving grace of not seeing three SEC.
Holy shit, the Lakers just tied it, Irvin. 111, going into overtime. Matt Ryan with a big 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Undrafted free agent.
Woo! The only good Matt Ryan in professional sports right now, by the way.
Yeah, and the only good thing about the Lakers is we can find talent.
Somehow, some way.
Undrafted talent.
Hey, that's a good benefit. Wow, what a shot. Oh my god. 0.3 seconds on what a fucking shot. Incredible, dude. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I had to let you know that.
Nah, that's cool. What college did Matt Ryan go to?
Oh, Iowa?
Oh, shit, I don't know. I just know he made the team out of training camp. But yeah, back to our college football playoff discussion. Yeah, I don't want to see Clemson. Would
Notre Dame. He went to he went to 3 colleges: Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, and Chattanooga.
Oh damn, a lot of transfers.
Yep.
I don't want to see 3 SEC teams in the playoff, but if you give me a choice of 3 SEC teams and not having Clemson in there, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
See, I'm kind of in agreement with you, but at the same time, it's like, because I do think that this is such a wide open field, like, I don't want to see 3 SEC teams in there, even if we do think that they are the 3 best teams in college football, because, while USC does have deficiencies, I think that their offense can give these teams a little bit of trouble. And
Yeah, their offense could give anybody trouble. It's just they would have to win the game 55 to 52.
Yep. And I think Oregon has definitely improved, dude. Like, they've improved.
Oregon
a lot
has
over the course of
improved,
the year.
but you gotta think when they played Georgia, that didn't even look like a game.
But that was also the first game of the season.
It
You know
don't
what I
matter.
mean?
It's not going. If you think of if they played anybody in the top 5 outside of Clemson, do you think it's gonna be a competitive game?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like,
Neutral site? No, it's not, because the only reason why they play so good is they're at home or they playing a dog shit team on the road.
I mean, you can't take away that they dominated that game against UCLA, and UCLA was a top 10 team. And Irving, you thought UCLA was gonna win that game.
Yeah, I thought they had a chance, but then I thought about it. Oregon at home is kind of tough to beat, but it's not like UCLA just got dominated. They left a lot of points on the field. Plus, they missed some throws and they had some terrible penalties. But like you said, Oregon has improved. I'll give them credit, but
What if they blow USC out in the Pac-12 championship? If those 2 teams make the Pac-12 championship,
if USC and Oregon make the Pac-12 championship and Oregon blows out USC and they're a 12 and what? They'll be what, 12-1?
they will be 12-1.
Then they may deserve a shot at the college football playoff. But if they do beat us and they have to play Georgia, Alabama, or Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, or Ohio State, or Tennessee, Alabama, or one of Tennessee, Alabama, or Georgia. Just
but I think
two of those teams probably gonna make the playoffs.
But I think Alabama, like, they definitely have, like,
they have deficiencies, but that secondary's been playing a lot better the last couple weeks.
McKinstry's been playing good. Aside from him,
no, the 2 safeties have stepped up and played a little bit better too. Plus, they're rotating that other guy in now, and he's been making some plays. But let's be real: if Oregon plays any of those teams on a neutral site, it'll be like Clemson making the playoffs. Bo Nix is going to revert to the Bo Nix we all know, and they're going to get the dog shit beat out of them.
maybe. Does the Big 12 have any? If TCU runs a table, does the Big 12 have a shot at getting a team in?
The only way they would have a shot is Clemson would have to lose. Michigan definitely would have to lose to Ohio State. And Alabama or whoever makes the SEC championship has to get embarrassed in the championship.
Because I know this sounds crazy, but I definitely think Kansas State is the best team in the Big 12.
I think they are too.
And I think that it has to be taken into consideration that they lost their top 2 quarterbacks in that game. And like if they're healthy, we know they're the best team. And like, yeah, they lost to Tulane, dude. And it was a bad spot for them, but Tulane's also the 16th ranked team in the college football playoff. You know what I mean?
So
It's not like they're a bum.
If you want to look at losses, they got one of the best losses in the country.
Two of the best losses in the country. I mean, they lost to TCU and they lost to Tulane. They lost to two top 25 teams in the college football playoff. You know?
Now, Oregon still has to play Utah. The only thing that they have going for them that they are going to be at home. I don't know if Utah is going to be healthy. Cam Rising might be more banged up than what they're leading us on to believe. So that's going to be a big game.
Bro, they sold their soul for they sold their soul to the devil to win that USC game.
That's what it looks like because they teams been
and Kincaid's hurt too.
Yeah, they say he's day to day, but you know how these colleges love to underreport injuries. So.
Yeah, shout out to NIU and Rocky Lombardi.
So I think that's gonna. Well, of course, whoever wins that game is gonna be in the driver's seat to make the Pac-12 championship because then you just have USC versus UCLA. So whoever wins those two games are gonna more than likely be in the Pac-12 title game. And I really think that a one-loss Pac-12 champion and if TCU goes undefeated, they should definitely be in consideration for the playoffs, along with the SEC champion and the champion out of the Big Ten. But we both know that's not how this is going to work.
Nope. I can't wait till we expand the playoff.
Yeah, the expanded playoffs is really going to help.
All right, so
and college football.
Before we move on to our games, what's your top 4 college football playoff ranking right now? Yours.
I would go Tennessee 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, and give me. Hey, look at the top 5. I'll put Michigan over Clemson. I don't like Clemson at all.
All right, I'm going Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, TCU number 4. I think they've had the toughest schedule out of all those teams, and they're undefeated. And yes, I know they're undefeated only because Kansas State lost their top 2 quarterbacks, but that's my top 4 right now. I lightweight want to throw Kansas State in that top 4. I'm not going to lie to you, dude.
Because I can't throw them in there with 2 losses, bro. That's why I'm how is Texas in the top 25? They got 3 losses.
But the thing is like the college football playoff committee, they've always said like we're gonna put the 4 best teams in the playoff, and I think Kansas State's the best team in the Big 12. You know what I mean? Like I don't care that they lost to TCU because they lost Adrian Martinez and they lost the backup quarterback Howard, right? Will Howard. Yeah. So I think that when healthy, I think that's the best team in the Big 12. So I think that they deserve to be there. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put TCU there because they are undefeated. All right, let's hop into these games. First game we're going to talk about is a Friday night Pac-12 after dark matchup. We got Oregon State heading up to Seattle to face the Washington Huskies at Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium. Oregon State 4.5-point dog right now. The total is 54.5. Oregon State 6-2 on the year, 6-2 against the spread, 5-3 to the over. Washington is 6-2 straight up, 4-4 against the spread, 7-1 to the over. They are also losers of 4 straight games ATS, by the way. What's your thoughts on this game here, Irvin?
This game is definitely going to come down to is Washington going to be consistent enough on defense to. Because they're going to score. Now, will Oregon State defense stifle their offense enough and get enough stops to get up and, win by, let's say, a touchdown or 10 points? Or is Washington going to look like the team we thought was underrated the first 4 or 5 games in the season? Because lately, they've been getting exposed low-key.
Yeah. Oregon State's the best pass defense in Pac-12.
Yeah.
I think that benefits them tremendously in this matchup here, because Washington, I said it when they went to go face UCLA. I said UCLA is the best team they've faced all season. What happens? UCLA wins the game. Now they're facing the best defense they've faced all season, Irvin, for sure in the passing game. And that's what Washington wants to do. Like, they're a passing team, and Penix is one of the most accurate passers in the Pac-12. I'm not going to deny that. But Oregon State, we saw what they did to USC's passing game, right? And I think that is going to be a huge thing here. On top of that, Washington State, Washington against the run, 56 PPA, 47th rushing play per rate, and then 29th in explosiveness. And obviously, Oregon State's going to want to run the ball. Chase Nolan expected to play on Friday night. Does add a little bit of benefit to Oregon State. But I actually think the under is the play here, dude. 54.5. I know that sounds crazy because everyone thinks Washington is like a high-scoring team. It's going to go over. But these two teams contradict each other very well because Oregon State is a great pass defense and Washington is a great run defense.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the battle of wheels.
Yep. And I think 4.5 in this spot, I think it's too much. Way too much.
Yeah.
This should be a pick'em game, in my opinion. And as much as I like Peter DeBoer, head coach of Washington, as much as I like his offensive scheme, I think Oregon State defensively
stifle their offense.
Yeah, that secondary is the best secondary in Pac-12 for sure, hands down.
This could probably be like a 24-17 game or 27-20, something like that.
And it's Pac-12 after dark, dude. You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know what's gonna happen. One team could end up getting the doors blown off of them. But it ain't been too many blowouts on Pac-12 after dark though.
Depending. If Stanford or Cal play, you never know.
I have to look it up and see, but I haven't seen a lot of blowouts on Pac-12 after dark.
I like Oregon State plus the 4.5. I like the under though too.
Yeah, I like Oregon State. I like them with the points.
I think this is
and them getting their starting QB back is going to help. I think he played last week too.
I mean, they've only lost one game with the backup. Actually, they haven't lost with the backup. The only game they lost was when Chase Nolan went out against Utah. They had a miraculous comeback against Stanford, though. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. That was some miraculous shit, but
last play of the game.
But they were on the road, you know what I mean? And obviously Washington's at home here. I've been to Washington. I've been to Husky Stadium. It's a very loud stadium.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna be rocking, but it's something that Oregon State's obviously they're very well aware of. They played there before. Mm-hmm. And I think they have the kind of team that can, defense travels well, right? And run game travels well. And they do the two things that can offset Washington's offense. You know what I mean?
And we know that defense is shaky at best.
Yep. I mean, they've been lit up plenty of times.
They got lit up by Arizona State.
Oh, my God, dude. They've been lit up by everybody, bro, at this point. All right, let's hop into our next game. We got Georgia at Tennessee. This is the battle of ones here. So we have the number one team in the AP poll versus the number one team in the college football playoff, which is Tennessee.
Game of the century.
Game of the century right here. This is definitely the game of the fucking week. It's a 3:30 Eastern kickoff, so 12:30 Pacific. This is at Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. Tennessee 8-point dog right now. Georgia lane 8. The total is 66. Tennessee 8-0 straight up, 7-1 against the spread, 5-3 to the over. Georgia 8-0 straight up, 4-4 ATS, 2-5-1 to the over. What's your thoughts here, Irvin?
This game is going to come down to the two quarterbacks who makes the most plays, and Georgia's kind of banged up. They're going to be without their best pass rusher, Nolan Smith, who's looking like a top 10, top 5 pick, depending on most draft boards and mock drafts.
Jalen Carter, though, I think he is playing, yeah?
Yeah, I think Jalen Carter is going to be playing because I think he sat out last week to get ready for this physical game.
Yeah.
I want to see what team can actually get the run game going because we know both passing games are pretty damn good. If you hear something in the background, that's just Holland Wind. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I like Tennessee plus the 8 because I think they're just so explosive offensively. You're only going to stop them so many times. Either it has to be a turnover or you force them into a 3rd and long with sacks or stopping them on first. If you can get them to minimal gains on 1st and 2nd, you have a good shot at, coding that offense under 40 points because right now it look like nobody can stop them. They took Kentucky to the woodshed and only allowed 13 or 6 points. Nobody saw that coming against Kentucky. So
Well, I mean, Kentucky definitely the inferior team,
yeah, but they have a
unless you're
good
talking
team.
to Michael Gibson.
Oh yeah, he did try to argue that Kentucky is almost as talented as Tennessee, but I don't agree with that one.
I think this is the thing here. Like, I think both these teams are very even. I mean, both average 7.2 to 7.4 yards per play. Both give up about 5 yards per play. I mean, when you talk about these teams, like they are basically mirrors of each other. I think that they do things very differently, though, right? I
Yeah,
think
the
Hendon
difference.
Hooker is definitely the better quarterback
Yeah,
in this matchup. Um,
the biggest difference is gonna be the wide receivers, though. We don't really get too much mention about Georgia's wide receivers, and we know that Tennessee is 4 or 5 deep with NFL talent at wide receiver,
yep.
and any one of those guys could go off at any moment.
And Georgia has two of the best tight ends in football, so
Yeah, so
it's a little bit different. Georgia also, I'm sorry, hold on. Georgia second in rushing PPA, so points per attempt. They're also 59th in explosiveness, but they're 12th in defensive explosiveness against a run. And against the pass, though, 71st in explosiveness, and that's where Tennessee does their work. 35th in explosiveness passing. Explosiveness is obviously 15 yards or more per play. And Tennessee just such a good passing team, dude. And Tennessee's weakness is their pass defense, but Georgia, they want to establish the run first and foremost and then pass the ball. They're not considered a passing team. I think that could
yeah,
benefit Tennessee here.
and they're gonna try to attack you over the middle. And I know they put Bowers on the on the perimeter a lot too because he's ultra talented. But if somehow Tennessee could put some type of damper on those tight ends, they have a real good shot at winning this game on
I
the road.
was, and I wasn't like, I understand Kentucky is an inferior team to Tennessee, but I was impressed by Tennessee's defense, dude. They only allowed 6 points in that game,
Yeah, they stepped up.
right? And Will Levis is he's an NFL caliber quarterback. I don't care what anybody says, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is gonna be a tough game, dude. It does concern me that like everybody and their mom is on Tennessee in this game,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm definitely a contrarian. Like I like going against the public, and I like going against the popular belief. This is probably a stay away game for me in that sense because I do want Tennessee to win. I also have Hendon Hooker plus 5,000 to win Heisman. So if he wins this game, Heisman's basically locked up for him.
Yeah, and I think you got a shot at the over too. Honestly,
Think so? It's a huge over for
66.
Georgia defense, dude.
I know, but that defense hasn't been tested the way it's going to be tested on Saturday.
Watch this be like a 21-17 game. Dude, I
No,
don't know, bro. It's
I mean,
66 is a lot, Irv.
I think this game could get into the 30s for both. I can see this game being like 38-35.
Oh, that doesn't even go over though. Oh, it does. That puts us at 73.
I could see it getting into the 30s because Tennessee, as good as Tennessee's defense is, we haven't seen them get tested the way they're gonna be tested on Saturday.
You haven't really seen Georgia's defense get tested either.
I mean, no, I meant to say Georgia defense because we only seen them against like who's the best team they played so far?
Florida,
Florida, and Florida damn near came back that
they
game.
almost came back, dude. They did almost come back in that game.
So, and Anthony Richardson is a decent QB. He's not Hendon Hooker,
Well, he can't throw like Hendon Hooker, but Hendon Hooker also can't run like Anthony Richardson.
but he can run though.
He can, but he can't.
You gotta respect those legs. I just like the way he's throwing the ball from the pocket, man. Some of those throws,
He's a
you can't
phenomenal
defend those
quarterback,
throws.
dude.
You can't. Some of those throws he be making, you just gotta tip your cap. So
He's a phenomenal quarterback.
it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how this works out. I do expect some points to be put up on both sides of the ball. Plus, Stetson Bennett has turned into a low key dual threat. He's been running all over the field
Well,
somehow.
but that's the thing is like he's more of a running quarterback than he is a passing quarterback. Like he's the white version of Jalen Hurts. Like he can't throw the ball very well, but he can run it. And he's
his deep ball isn't that good, but his intermediate stuff is cool.
Yeah, because he's throwing the fucking 2 6'8" targets. I could throw the 2 6'8" targets.
That could be the case too.
You know what I mean? Like, damn. Stetson Bennett he's a mediocre quarterback. This is a guy that will never see a down in the NFL.
Yeah, he would definitely be a career backup.
He might not even make a roster, dude. He might be a practice league quarterback. He might be in the XFL actually, playing for the Arlington Juggernauts or whatever the fuck their name is.
Yeah, because it's definitely the talent around him, not him.
Yeah, I mean, he's surrounded by elite talent. You know, offensive line, wide receiver talent. I wouldn't say is as elite.
It's not as good as it was last year. Clearly,
but the tight ends obviously are.
Yeah, the tight ends make up for that for sure, and the running backs.
I don't know. This game's so close, dude. I think 8. Like I lean Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm definitely, if I'm betting, I'm taking Tennessee +8. I don't see this game getting out of control either way.
This gets to a touchdown or less, though. I probably take Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Because they are more proven in crunch time
and they're at home.
And they're at home, and they're the defending national champions, so they definitely been tested and overcame adversity. Because nobody thought they was beating Alabama. That's that national championship game.
I'll say this right now: if Tennessee wins this game, they will win the national championship. I'm saying it right now.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
I'm saying it right now, bro. They win this game, they will win the national championship.
Okay.
It's gonna happen. All right, let's move on to our next game. Another SEC matchup. We got Alabama heading into Tiger Stadium in Death Valley to face the LSU Tigers. This game is at a 7 Eastern kick. This is gonna be a night game. So you know all them Louisiana motherfuckers gonna be drunk as shit for this game. Alabama laying 13.5 on the road. The total is 56.5. Alabama 7-1 straight up, 5-3 against the spread, 3-5 to the over. LSU 6-2 straight up, 5-3 against the spread, 3-5 to the over. What do you think about this one?
Either this is going to be a good game, or it's going to be a Alabama by a landslide. Now, this is going to be Brian Kelly's biggest test since coming to LSU. He did show up pretty damn well against Ole Miss, but we knew Ole Miss was a huge question mark coming into that game. We both picked them to lose.
Yep.
And we both picked LSU to win outright. Now, this is going to be the best defense Jaden Daniels has faced. Is he really improving as a quarterback that we've seen the last 3-4 weeks? Is he going to step up and continue to be that same QB, or is he going to revert back to the QB we've seen at the beginning of the season and the QB that was at Arizona State? Bama is playing a lot better, especially more consistent on the defensive side of the ball. We know what they got on offense. They just got to be able to protect. They got to be able to protect Bryce and be able to give him time in the pocket to make the throws he needs to make. The receivers been stepping up. I could see this one being a shootout, honestly, or it's just gonna be Bama by 21 plus.
Nah, I like this game to go under a little bit. I think the line, I think 13.5 is a lot on the road, dude, to be honest. And I know it's Alabama, I know it's Nick Saban, but that's a lot, especially in a night game. However, you know, Jaden Daniels, you know, we talk about running quarterbacks in the NFL and like how that's changing the landscape of football, and like the fact that they don't really you don't have to be a great passer anymore. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he can't throw the ball for shit, dude. Like, if you expect this kid to drop back and throw the ball, dude, you're
He's gotten better, but he's not doing it on a consistent basis.
Nah, dude, he's a running quarterback, and that's what he does. But I mean, he does it at a high level. You know what I mean? Like, give me Alabama minus 13.5 here. I think that I just don't think LSU is very good at all, especially being.
Yeah, and plus you gotta think they starting 2 true freshmen at the tackle positions. That's a recipe for disaster against a team like Alabama.
I need a Will Anderson sighting this weekend, Irving.
Well, he's honestly, teams are running away from him. They're not giving him a chance to impact the game. So if he does impact the game, it does have to be a special play made or him just taking advantage of a one-on-one opportunity, which he's not getting most of. But I think he's proven enough on tape that outside of him getting hurt, that he's gonna be a top three, guaranteed top three or top five pick. Like we all know what Will Anderson brings to the table. So
I hope
and
so. I
plus,
mean, he's had a disappointing year in my opinion, dude.
yeah, we get said disappointed by the stat sheet, but if you look at his, if
But
you
I
look
mean,
at
you
his,
watch the big games he's played in Tennessee, Texas. I mean, he was nowhere to be found, dude, except
yeah,
when
that
flags were
that
being
right
thrown for his
that
number.
right tackle did have a good game against him. That's probably the best I've seen somebody block him one on one in his whole time in college. Then he's got to tip your cap to him. They had a good battle, but Tennessee just that deep. Alabama defense looked like it didn't even belong on the field at times with Tennessee. So
Nope,
that's
not at
that
all.
one game that I would throw out.
Yeah.
So I know
Alabama's
Will
defense
Anderson is a bust.
4.3 yards per play. LSU offense 6.2 yards per play. Alabama offense 7.0 yards per play. LSU defense 5.5 yards per play. I do think that the weakness for LSU is that they give up a lot of rushing yards, and obviously Nick Saban, he wants to run the ball 211 yards rushing per game. I think that's going to be the difference. I think they're going to be able to control the clock. I think they're going to be able to control the game. And on top of that, because of where they're at in the college football playoff, I think Nick Saban knows that he needs to go out here and he needs to prove to the college football playoff that they deserve to be in the top four. And to do that, he needs to dominate this game.
Yeah, what's the over under?
The over-under is 56.5.
56 and a half.
I honestly lean the under here because I think that like I like Bama to cover the 13.5, and I like the under. I think that they're gonna stifle this LSU offense because this LSU offense is very one dimensional.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And I think they're gonna take that shit away, dude. And if Jaden Daniels can't get out and run, I think it's going to be very tough sledding. I mean, he only averages 266 yards passing. And while you say, well, 266 yards passing is a lot, no, it's not. Not in college, especially considering the talent, the teams that they've played.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like if he was playing Alabama's of the world every week, sure, 266 yards is good, but no, not against the teams they've played. He don't throw the ball, Irv.
I know they gotta throw. They definitely gotta throw the ball this game. If they don't throw the ball
He
this
got the
game,
best wide receiver in the country, probably.
yeah, they getting their ass torched if they don't. If they can't put up a good amount of yards passing the ball, it's gonna be all bad in Death Valley.
Yeah, I like Bama here, dude. I think this is a big spot for Nick Saban, dude. I think he knows he has to win big here.
Yeah, you do.
I think that's the difference. All right, let's move on to the next game. We got Texas at Kansas State. Big Big 12 matchup here. Texas laying 2.5 on the road. Texas is 5-3 straight up, 5-3 against the spread, 3-5 to the over. Kansas State 6-2 straight up, 5-2-1 against the spread, 3-5 to the over. The total is 54.5. I don't know if we get Adrian Martinez back, but I mean, Will Howard looked really good last week.
Yeah, Will Howard's a pretty good backup. Now, the first thing I'm gonna look at is that over under. I definitely think it goes over.
You think so? Because Kansas State's defense very good.
These are two of the better defenses in the Big 12, so could be a good chance it goes under too. Now, the biggest thing about this game is going to be the run game. Who establishes the run first, and what team can step up and put a damper on the other team's run game? Because he's probably two of the best rushing teams in the Big 12, so I think that's going to carry either team to victory. And can the quarterback make
Both teams good
throws?
against the run defensively too.
Yeah, so and we got to see if each quarterback can make the throws and can stretch the field. Now, Quinn Ewers, we both know, got an elite arm, but sometimes that dude, he's like Jackson Dart. Like, what the hell what are you doing sometimes when he throw the damn ball? Especially when he tried to throw it at one ball, he tried to throw across his body. Who was that was playing? Was it Iowa State?
Yeah.
Or they got
No. It was last week. It was Fuck, who the fuck did they play last week, dude?
Or
was it?
Because Oklahoma State got blew out by what's the name?
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah, that throw was horrible.
It was against Oklahoma State
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was. He can't ever do that shit again.
Yeah, I think the big difference here is that Kansas State's at home. I think the fact that they're laying points is disrespectful, dude. I said it when we started the show when we were talking about the college football playoff. I personally think Kansas State's the best team in the Big 12, dude. I truly believe that. You know what I mean? Like, they would have beat TCU, and they've won every Big 12 game they faced. And the only games they got left in the Big 12 is Baylor, West Virginia, and Kansas, right? You know, they beat the dog shit out of Oklahoma State, 48-0, dude.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's been phenomenal offensively. I mean, they put up 41 points against Texas.
Yeah, that was a statement for sure.
So, in my opinion, this is just this line has the wrong team favorite, in my opinion. I'm taking Kansas State. I love it. Plus 2.5. Give it to me. Give me the money line. I honestly prefer Will Howard starting over Adrian Martinez. I know it sounds crazy to say, but I think Will Howard.
Yeah, because he adds
passer.
another dimension to their offense. Because Adrian Martinez has improved on the ball, but we all know that he's not a pocket passer. He's gonna kill you with his arm, and that draws the defense in and it opens up the passing plays. Now, Will Howard can run. He can run, and he's even better with his arm. So that opens up a lot for him.
Sure does. I also think the under is definitely in play here because I think both these teams are very similar in the fact that, like, they both like to run the ball first, and they both are good against the run, right?
Yeah.
You know, Oklahoma State beat the shit out of Texas because they threw the ball all over them with Spencer Sanders.
Yeah.
Spencer Sanders could not throw the ball for shit against Kansas State. You know, so I think that that's going to be stifled. So I think that this could be, you know, I think these two teams are pretty even. And so I got Kansas State at home, and I'm getting points. I think that's an easy bet for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're a fucking dog, dude, at home. Why? What the? Like, why? How? Doesn't make any sense.
I guess they favoring Texas.
All right, we got two more games on deck. We got Clemson at Notre Dame. Clemson 8-0 straight up, 4-4 against the spread, 4-4 to the over.
Call you back. I'm on my podcast.
Oh, Irvin answering the call. Notre Dame 5-3 straight up, 4-4 against the spread. Right now, Clemson laying 3.5 on the road at Notre Dame. We know what happened last time these two teams played. This was 2020. DJ Ukulele's first game, and honestly the best game he's ever looked.
Yeah, he
as a freshman.
Killed Notre Dame.
Totals 44 here. What do you think here?
I think this game actually comes down to what QB has the better game, honestly, because we both know both defenses are solid. Notre Dame is a little bit better at running the ball now. They got better at doing that. But honestly, I think they have what it takes to beat Clemson, especially if Clemson turns the ball over 5 times like they did against Syracuse.
That won't happen because I guarantee DJ turns it over, he's getting pulled, dude. If Klubenik plays a majority of this game, they're gonna blow Notre Dame out.
Yeah, okay, so 1 turnover. That's all you give it DJ this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bro, he got pulled last game.
Yeah, that's true.
He definitely on a short leash.
Super short.
They should have lost against Syracuse, dude. Let's be completely honest.
Definitely.
And Notre Dame, I mean, yeah, they beat Syracuse 41-24, but you know, Syracuse, they definitely were good defensively. And Syracuse put in a backup quarterback because their fucking starting quarterback couldn't fucking do shit. I don't know, dude. I lean Notre Dame here plus a 3.5. But
yeah, I like Notre Dame with the points.
But if I'm not going to play this game for the simple fact that because I think if Klubenik comes in, I think this game could get nasty, dude. Because Klubenik's that good.
Yeah, he gonna make some freshman mistakes, but you could tell he definitely got the talent. He's gonna be a damn good QB.
He's way better than DJ.
Yeah, I gotta give him his credit. Yeah, I like that offense better with him as a quarterback because you can tell he's not gun shy and he's gonna push the ball downfield.
Yeah. All right, one last game, and then we'll get some best bets and we'll get out of here.
All right.
We got Wake Forest at NC State. Wake Forest lane 4 on the road. Wake Forest is 6-2 straight up, 6-2 against the spread, 4-4 to the over. NC State 6-2 straight up, 2-6 against the spread, 4-4 to the over. The total is 54 here. Wake Forest obviously coming off a loss. I thought that was a bad spot for them.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts here in this game?
Can Wake Forest bounce back? And they're playing, man, NC State, man. They just, ever since they lost O'Leary, they were struggling to score with him. And ever since they lost him, it's just been even worse. I don't know how they came back and beat Virginia Tech, but they did. They won by 1. But if they get down the way they did against Wake Forest, they did against Virginia Tech, it's a wrap. They're going to get the doors blown off of them. So it's going to be, I think NC State still has a decent defense, but just the offense puts them in such bad spots and leaves them on the field so long that they just get tired out and the other team could just run away with the game. Now, Wake Forest probably going to be the best offense they've played all season. So that's definitely going to factor into the game as well.
What's the weather like?
I would have to check.
It says clear.
All right, let me see.
So I think, because honestly, if I'm NC State, I need everything to go right for me in this game.
Yeah, you need pretty much everything to go right.
And that's a recipe for disaster, to be honest. The best thing they have going for them is that they're at home, but not having Leary, I think, is
yeah, that's been a downfall of the team. And he wasn't playing his best, but he's clearly the leader and the best QB by a mile on that team.
Yeah, and their offense, I mean, is just dog shit, dude.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Give me Wake Forest here minus the 4 points.
Definitely.
I think this could also be an under type game for the simple fact that I think Wake Forest could win this game like 30-10.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So
31-10.
I like Wake Forest in this spot, dude. I just think that they're just
too bad, too much offensively.
Yeah, way too much offensively. Hartman definitely the best quarterback that this NC State team's gonna face all year.
Yeah,
considering that they faced DJ over Klubenik, but yeah, man, give me Wake Forest here minus the 4 points on the road. I can't believe I'm saying that against NC State, but hey, just remember you picked NC State to win.
I picked it to win the ACC.
Let's go, y'all.
All right, let's get some best bets out of these games we had, Irv. So what are give me 2 best bets you like here.
My best bets are, I'm gonna take Oregon State plus the 4.5, and I love K-State plus 2.5.
So Oregon State plus 4.5, K-State plus 2.5. I'm gonna go Wake Forest minus the 4. And then I am also going to go with because you took
K-State.
You took K-State, so I gotta find a different bet here. Let's go with
Alabama.
Let's go. Damn. God damn it, Irvin.
Well, I'll go Alabama minus 13. You can have your K-State plus 2.
That's fine. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go Tennessee Georgia under 66, dude. Tennessee Georgia under 66.
I think that goes over.
I like the under 66. I can't imagine Georgia scoring that much points, dude. So let's go. Let's get this money.
Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go.
Let's get it. Let's go. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. That's craft beer delivered straight to your front door. You don't even gotta leave your seat. Irvin and I will be putting out our college football best bets, our top 5 best bets tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. You can follow Irvin on Twitter at SwervinIrvinTSP. You can follow myself at Jordan Rules TSP. You can follow us on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast. You can follow me on TikTok. I don't even know my TikTok. I think it's Jordan Rules TSP. You can follow. Just go to taproomsportspodcast.com. You can find all of our shit there. All right. We'll be putting out our top NFL bets on Saturday along with Big Ball and Ben Larson. And then Ben and I will be back on Sunday night to recap the the NFL week and all that in the World Series, because by Sunday the World Series will be over. Nice. So we'll have that to talk about. And then I will also be on Temple of Hoop with Jason Maples coming out on Monday morning next week. So stay tuned for that. For Swerving Irvin Washington, I'm Jordan Stacks on Stacks on Stacks Lads. We will catch y'all later. Have a beautiful weekend. And let's go. Let's get this money. Let's head to the window. Oregon State plus 4.5 on Friday. App State, Coastal Carolina over tomorrow.